Welcome back to the space between the picket lines. I'm your hostess, Rebecca David, and today we are going to look at an interesting question. Why make such a huge deal out of being a pro-life generation? And to help answer that question, I have a guest with me today who I'm going to introduce right after this. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Genesis of Conception, and I have got a fellow proudly pro-life Gen Z woman along for the ride today. Her name is Kate Rogers. She actually goes to school with me at Dallas Baptist University, which is how we know one another, and she is super psyched to be here on today's video to discuss why being the pro-life generation, or a pro-life generation, is so important rather than just being in our generation and also pro-life. There's a difference between those two items. So the first, and oh, by the way, you guys, for those of you who have seen the video with my father in it, which is the other video that I have, an interview with somebody on, we're going to do the same format, which means that none of the questions I'm about to ask her did she hear at any point before right now. So these are all her cold turkey answers. Are you ready?
Yes!
Fantastic. Okay, so question one. Why do you consider yourself to be pro-life?
Because the killing of an unborn child is murder.
I mean, succinct, nice and short and sweet. You are correct. Now, this leads me to an interesting question for you. There is a difference between, standing for the preborn and saying, yes, killing a child is murder in utero, as well as outside of the womb, right? Obviously. It is a different thing altogether to come to the realization that there's an entire sector of American society that doesn't agree with that. So when was the moment when you had that aha moment of, oh, there are those who are totally okay with, for fill in the blank on your favorite answer, for killing a child in utero? When was that moment for you?
When I watched the live action video of it happening, of the abortions.
I remember seeing that one. Totally, by the way, if any live action folks watch this at any point in time, that video has affected so many people I know, myself included. Like, I was always pro-life, and then I saw that video, and I was like, I have to get involved. Because once you know, you can't unknow. And once you see, you can't unsee. So you saw this video, then what happened?
Then so I was raised conservative.
Sure.
But you don't really fully understand what's going on until you've actually seen it happen.
Absolutely. So you saw this video and you had your aha moment and you're like, oh my goodness, in order for this to be a thing, there must be people who believe it's okay. Was that about what happened in your mind there? And from that point, you got involved, question marks, besides just being here on this video, which is awesome, by the way.
Yes, I work with an organization. It's a derivative. Thank you.
We got this.
Of Young Life. It's called Young Lives, and it's meant for teen moms, and they do counseling for young moms who decide to keep their child instead of aborting them.
Yeah. And by the way, that didn't end up on the video that I made recently about the different ways you can get plugged in or get help, but that is another really great option. And also, if you're looking for more, you should go check out that video. There's lots of information there. So you're aware of this fight. You're aware of the importance of spreading the word about, hey, it's not okay to murder children. Yes. And now you're actively involved in the fight as well, especially being on here. So my question then becomes, why do you want others, and our generation specifically, to become active fighters for the preborn? Why is that so important to you?
It's important because if we don't make a stand for what is correct, these unborn children, they can't physically fight for themselves. So we have to fight the fight for them.
Absolutely. I laugh, right? Because whenever we're talking together, just in like a normal setting, you can't shut us up. No. But, and this is one of those things that's important to not shut up about.
Yeah,
we have to keep talking. We have to keep, because I've talked to so many people. Before I asked her to be on this video, because I knew she'd say yes.
Yes, I would almost say yes.
So before I asked her to be on this video, I actually talked to a substantial number of other individuals who are in our same generation, and all of them individually said, yes, I absolutely, I'm fighting the good fight, and I want to stand for the preborn, but, I'm not comfortable putting my face out there on the internet. So that leads me to my next question. Why are you okay with people knowing your name and knowing where they can find you and knowing that you are unabashedly a proud pro-life conservative? Why are you okay with that, especially in a day and age like we live in currently?
I'm okay with it because you can't help someone else if they don't know who's on their side. You need to stand up for what you believe in. Mm-hmm. And if you don't stand up for what you believe in, and you're telling people don't abort your children, and you're not giving them a face to go with the words, they're not going to listen to you. You have to have your face out there so they know.
That's very true. Yes, so here are two faces. Find us.
We will help.
We will. And there's actually going to be a whole lot of information further on in this video about ways in which we can help you. So stay tuned for that as well. But keep on watching because we got lots more fun stuff coming in this one. So it's important to not only be pro-life, but to be out there and to be saying, hey, I stand for the preborn. I am in this generation and I care. And I feel like that's especially potent for us as women.
Yes.
Because there's this weird presupposition that, like, I encounter frequently that it is anti-woman to be a pro-life woman. What's your response to that?
That's bull. It shouldn't be that way.
Now, why do you say that that's bull and it shouldn't be that way?
Because what people don't understand is the child is growing in us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the men have more say over whether a woman keeps a child or not. But if it's growing in us, it should be our opinion whether we should keep or abort our child. And if we abort our child, we're committing murder. Because you can't kill something that's not already living. It has to be living for you to then kill it.
That's accurate. I actually have one of the first videos I did on this channel goes into that whole concept as well as a bunch of others, although I do have to slightly disagree with you on this one. Incorrect me at any point that you think I'm wrong here. I'm gonna reword what you said just a little bit. Sounds good? Okay, so here's the dealio. Women deserve to know the truth about abortion, first and foremost. I have a whole video on that. It's in the playlist. But even just besides that, it is so vital to understand, men, you need to be in this fight because it takes two to tango.
Bingo.
Women, you need to be in this fight because we have the ability, we have the ability to be the sacred space where that child should be at its most protected until it enters the world and can start breathing for itself. Aside from all the amazing things the womb does for it. So that's why both men and women need to be in this fight. And that's why I always laugh when people say it's anti-woman to be pro-life as a woman. Because guess what? Every single person who can, create and, and bring to being on the other side of the womb. Every person with a womb is a female, period. Men don't have wombs. They can't have children. So there's that.
That's true.
So women will always be affected. But two, half of the children in the womb are women. So we're fighting this fight all the way through. The next question is, as we're both Texan women, what are your thoughts regarding the heartbeat law that was recently passed here?
I love the heartbeat law. If you don't know what it is, she's got a full video on it.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So go watch it.
Well, it's part of a larger video, but yes.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on it?
I like it because it gives me a reassurance that when a child has a heartbeat at 6 weeks, that you can't kill it. You can't touch that thing at all.
That person. You can't touch that. Because, and I know that sounds like such a weird idiosyncrasy, but the phraseology is important because that's a person, not a thing. So there's that.
We just don't know. At that point, we don't know what gender, if it's going to be male or a female.
So you like the heartbeat law because it protects the preborn in a way that the preborn didn't have that protection post Roe v. Wade up until this point. Fantastic. My next question being, nationwide, what would you say within the pro-life fight is the single most important battle that we are facing currently?
The abortions of the children. Because people don't understand what's really going on.
So not just the abortions of the children, but more specifically, what happens within an abortion.
Yes.
Correctamundo, which luckily, like I said earlier, we have an entire video dealing with. I got you covered, y'all. If you want the information, it is there for the grasping. What's up?
We could find the actual video that you and I watched.
Perhaps. Oh, no, I actually put, I had attached that as a link to another one.
Never mind that.
I got you. Don't worry. We had all the information over here. Yeah. All right. So you would say the biggest battle within the war is raising awareness of what happens in an abortion.
Yes.
You are not wrong. Or at least you are. That is a solid answer to that question. Now, my next question is a bit more intricate, if you will.
Okay.
Would you classify the abortion industry as evil? And if so, why?
Yes, it is evil, because growing up in a conservative Christian household, we are taught that not to murder.
Yeah, murder's bad.
Murder is bad. In the Bible it says that. So should it be okay for you to kill an unborn child? Because it's a human.
I can receive
it. If you have a homicide, murder, and the person kills a mom who's pregnant, it's considered a double homicide because there are two people involved in it, the mother and the unborn child. So if you look at that...
Oh, and by the way, for reference on this, she's actually studying
I'm criminal justice
She's
major.
a criminal justice major, so, knowing this is part of her job. Continue.
Yeah, we probably should have started with that.
Life is good. Continue, go ahead.
So, because you have two essentially dead people,
it's considered a double homicide because you didn't just murder one person.
Yeah, you murdered two. So why should abortion be legal? Because you're still murdering a person.
Absolutely. Now, the last question that I have for you, and this one is probably the most important, so think on it for just a second before you answer. If you could choose one single greatest takeaway for anyone who watches this video to have, what would it be? In one sentence or less.
To help us stop abortions and fight the fight for pro-life.
Absolutely. As an aside on that one, before we get to the next fun section, which is the book recommendation of this week, AO, I just wanted to also say to you, wherever you're coming from, even if it's in a place where maybe you're like her friend and you had an abortion at some point in the past, knowing what it does or not knowing what it does, because I know people in both situations, it is never too late to join the fight. It is so important for us to stand up and be the generation who says this far and no farther. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stay around, because up next, the book of the week. Hoo-yah. Y'all, so this week's book recommendation is called The Making of Pro-Life Activists, How Social Movement Mobilization Works. It was written by Zaya W. Munson, and it takes a hard look at how people get involved in activist work after making the same realization that Kate and I did upon watching the live-action video. It also delves into the lives of activists and non-activists alike within the movement to give a realistic portrayal of how activism changes everything. And now for my personal favorite part of the video. If you need help or you want to get active in the movement, please reach out to me on one or multiples of my social media platforms. You should see the info somewhere on this screen. You can also holler at me down below in the comments section if you would like to. Just let me know so I can help you. And if you are someone who knows someone in either of those situations, please direct them to this series so that once again they can find out about me and I can help them in whatever way they might need or want help. Now, that said, next week, we are going to look at how you, if you wish to become an activist, can specifically and purposefully get plugged into the mission. For now, though, as we end out this video, please never forget how precious and beloved you are by our Creator, and I challenge you to live as though it is true, because it is. And until next week, remember, no matter who you are or where you come from or what your beliefs happen to be, you are welcome in this space. Let's continue to be pioneers in the space between the picket lines together. God bless.